everything I've made recently, all these minis, has led to this. See, I've been bashing and converting some weird mechs, or at least my version of mechs, to play Flames of Orion, a fun, skirmish mech game by Steve, aka South of Heaven. The story goes that Steve was interested in playing Battletech, but upon seeing the heavy, rules-laden tome that is the Battletech rulebook, he noped right out of there, and created his own rules-light, narrative-focused game, which is available for free. I'll link it in the description. Now, Flames requires 4 mechs, and for my first game, I had smashed together and painted these 3. Deathstalker, to sit on the back line and blast away. 4 legs, lightweight objective grabber. And Mr. Krabs, the fast, get up in your face and probably explode close combat specialist. Then I grabbed this guy to fill in as the 4th. After deploying these guys for the first time, the homie, Rory, aka Ratboy Minis, said it's like facing Sid's army from Toy Story, which immediately gave me an idea. And as cool as this Barbie is, I really just want the head. As it turns out, Barbie is one tough toy. After some quick repairs, I could move on to the painful tedium of hair removal. After that bit of pain and misery, I needed some legs. I got a few of these older Tyranids from Adepticon. In fact, I used one of their heads on Mr. Krabs here. Anyways, looking at their front claws led me to thinking they'd make interesting legs. Need more than 2 though. If, like me, you're new to this kit bashing business, aluminum, or aluminium foil, is your friend. I just mashed up a small ball to use as a makeshift torso and glued it into the head, using plenty of super glue and baking soda. The baking soda has 2 purposes here. It acts like an activator, setting the glue quickly, plus it adds some nice, dirty texture. I used it pretty liberally to hide the tinfoil torso and leg connections. Now that I had a walking Barbie head, I needed some weapons. Looking through bits, all of the arms and weapons I liked just didn't fit. But I remembered I had this claw walker from my friends at Gear Guts Mech Shop. And yeah, these'll do nicely. Fitting them onto this mech just required a little surgery. Mechs don't need ears anyways. Priming is my favorite step. It's when your creation goes from stuck together disparate parts to a cohesive thing. Just like magic. When I'm painting something rusty and dusty, I always start with an all-over coat of some deep, old rust color. My paint of choice is burnt sienna. It's a great, rusty undertone, particularly through the airbrush. Then I'll do a bit of a general highlight with something slightly brighter, yet still rusty. In this case, burnt orange. To really lean into the creepiness of this mech, I wanted to make the head a vaguely fleshy skin tone. Recently, I've been less and less enamored with the concept of painting well. That is, I'm not as interested in technically excellent painting. I've been increasingly obsessed with smushing paint around quick and shitty. How quickly or efficiently can I portray the feeling I'm going for in a way I enjoy and still looks like something I painted? I like seeing brushstrokes. It makes it feel like something real. You immediately know it was painted by a human. Particularly for these pieces that are meant to be played with, I'm splashing paint with less focus and more fun. Remember, no one is spending any time looking at them up close. Even some social media post is only going to get a split second of attention. So paint in whatever way is fun, and shoot for a feeling rather than technical excellence. Now for some rust. There are some great rust products on the market. I don't have any, but they do exist. I don't tend to use specialized products. I'd rather use what I've got on hand: acrylic paint and pigment powder, primarily using orange. I'll heavily thin it down to a sort of wash consistency and pretty liberally apply it to areas I want to be extra rusty, such as all of the areas of superglue and baking soda. To add some visual interest to the flat sides of the claw, I applied some undiluted, straight from the bottle paint in a stippling motion. Essentially, I grabbed a well-worn brush, mushed the tip down a bit more, then gently dabbed the end where I wanted the color. Any worn brush will do here. In fact, cheap, flat synthetics could work quite well. Going back over this a few times really helps build up some nice, rusty texture. My final rust step is pigment powder. I particularly like Old Rust from Vallejo, but I mess around with quite a few. Rather than dusting the powder on dry, I'll make a wash consistency by mixing water into the powder and brushing it on. Sometimes super wet, just slopping it on, and other times more controlled. I like this method for two reasons. First, when it's dry, you can go back with a damp brush and wipe it away from any areas you overdid it, effectively re-highlighting the area. Secondly, you can hose it down with your preferred varnish without blowing the pigment away. As I smash black into these creepy eyes, let me ask you, when was the last time you acted on a wild idea? Made that weird mini you've been thinking about, or painted purely by feel? Myself, I've found a tremendous amount of joy making these weird little freaks, and quickly smushing paint around. Sure, they're just some plastic war dollies, but they're entirely mine. And maybe, just maybe, seeing War Barbie here will encourage you to make something weird, something just for you.